Let's bring in CBS News chief Washington correspondent and host of America Decides, Major Garrett, now for more on this. Major, several agencies have told their employees, don't respond to Elon Musk's Doge email over the weekend. We'll take care of it. What more are we learning here about the mandate and these agencies pushing back?
So bureaucratically, Lindsay, it's sort of flex on flex. So Elon Musk flexes Doge and says, everyone, tell us what you did last week, and if you don't, you're resigned. And then heads of departments, agencies flex back and say, no, you don't have to do what Elon says. We'll handle it in our own way. What the president, for what it may be worth, said in the Oval Office just a few moments ago is that it was an ingenious idea. And the president inserted yet another reason why he thought this was possibly a good approach. He said there are lots of people in the federal government, and the president didn't explain how he knows this or what numbers, who don't have jobs but get paid. They're just on the payroll doing nothing. Now, what he might be meaning to suggest is that there are a fair number of federal workers who work from home, don't come into the office, something that's been of a concern to, among others, the mayor of the District of Columbia, who'd like federal workers to come into the district and populate not only their office spaces, but the neighboring small businesses that have lost revenue because they're not here in the district or at their workplace. But that doesn't seem to be what the president was saying, that there's all these people on the federal workforce who do nothing and just get a paycheck. There are no government reports that back up that at all. So this is a part of a continuing effort to either intimidate the federal workforce, thin it out as aggressively as possible, possibly before legal challenges can be mounted to do this. And also, Lindsay, this idea that you report to Elon Musk what you did last week sort of intensifies the sense that President Trump and Elon Musk want to remake the federal workforce, not from civil service with civil service protections and unions who represent them, but a patronage workforce that answers only to the President of the United States. And that satisfaction of the president or his designated leader, like Elon Musk, is the only thing that affects your future job status. That's pure patronage. We did that in the 18th and 19th century in this country. In the 20th century, presidents turned that over to civil servants, permanent employees of the federal government, and let them do their job as they and their managers and cabinet secretaries thought best. President Trump is trying to overturn all of that.
Obviously, so many threads we can continue to pull from that, but we will continue to discuss that in the hours, days, and weeks ahead. Something else that people may have missed over the weekend, shake-up at the Pentagon, several key firings over the weekend. Who's in, who's out? How are these changes expected to impact the way the DoD operates?
So the big headlines were around the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, C.Q. Brown. Was President Biden's choice. President Trump fired him over the weekend, replaced him with someone named Dan Kane, who is a retired Air Force three-star general. He doesn't have any of the technical qualifications to become chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, but the president can ignore those qualifications under a 1986 law and put him in there. He'd have to come back into service, win Senate confirmation. Also, the president fired the chief of naval operations. And significant, Lindsay, all three judge advocate generals, the top lawyers for the Army, Navy, and Air Force. Those are the lawyers who tell the president whether something any president is considering conforms to law and whether or not it is, therefore, an executable order. The removal of these three judge advocate generals takes out people who would have been perceived within the military as somewhat distant, if not just independent of President Trump. These replaced lawyers will clearly be replaced, if past his prologue, by people who have a strong loyalty to President Trump. Whether that loyalty could interfere with their judgments about what is or isn't legal, we don't know, but many people on the outside are concerned about that.
All right, Major Garrett, thank you.